all, we had amazing virtual camp. It was a space theme. All the cubs went to another planet. We just did it over a weekend because that's what we can do. We had a visit by a real live astronaut who told us all about spending 2 weeks in space, which was really, really exciting. And we also had a space expert who plans expeditions to places like Venus, telling us about life and how we've got a very special planet here that we must all appreciate. We had great space helmets made out of special alien ray deflector tinfoil. Brilliant. And the space cabins were absolutely superb. And they were so great that a number of cubs decided to stay in their space cabins for even longer with their mums and dads. So that was fantastic. A great support given by all parents, and we loved you all supporting your children, and the kids looked so happy. So thank you, parents.
The Scout motto is to be prepared. And back in March, we were preparing for the biggest summer we'd ever planned. We had a vision, a program of scouting that took us all over the world. We'd never prepared such a set of adventures like this before. We'd be going to Jersey for our scout camp, to Estonia for a biking expedition, to Sweden for a scout camp, to Ireland to sail around its northern coast, and back to our beloved Biblands for a paddle sport camp on the borders of Wales. As well, of course, as exploring the familiar places closer to home, like Hobbs House for Cub Camp, and the Norfolk Broads for our sailing and windsurfing courses. We were going to share our love of sailing with scouts from across the United Kingdom as we gathered at Wroxham for the National Scout Sailing Regatta. And if that wasn't enough, we were going to share our love of sailing with scouts from around the world as they gathered in Texas for the World Scout Sailing Regatta. We dared to plan all of those things to take place in just 8 weeks of the summer. It would have been awesome. But alas, those things were swept away when the coronavirus arrived and lockdown started. Scouting was put on hold, or so the virus thought. The virus asked us in the 8th a simple question. Can you, will you, dare you carry on I think we can safely say the answer to that question is yes.
What you've done in lockdown is just absolutely the right answer to the challenge that we have faced. You could look at lockdown as the 8th Norwich Sea Scout Troop and think, well, what do we do now? We're all about outward bounds and we're all about getting together, and we can't do those things. But as Ian and others have been saying tonight, the way you've just adapted and made the best of the circumstances and worked out what you can do rather than worrying about what you can't do has just been amazing. And I've been able to keep track of that through the social media feeds that you've been putting out. It's been terrific to watch you in action. And the two words that I'd like to pick out, looking at all the screens with all the different faces on, would be verticality and volunteering. By verticality, I mean that I was really struck by the different age groups that you have represented in the 8th Norwich. And I'm sure that all the children who are present tonight would want to join me in thanking the volunteers from the adults who are there. Again, when I was looking through the screens, I was just struck by how many people you've got helping, how many people you've got involved. There's a really strong sense of teamwork that comes through there. And I'm very grateful for all the time that the adults put in to help with the 8th Norwich. So well done on your year. Well done particularly on what you've managed to keep going in recent weeks. It's absolutely terrific. And I've really enjoyed this evening, really enjoyed seeing your community in action. And I wish you all the best for the rest of this term and for the summer. Thank you.
I'm keen to answer one question. Why bother? What is the point in leaving home at all? And it was only like last week when I got asked this very question on an interview, and it made me think, actually. And so I want to share that with you today. I got asked philosophically, does the constant supply of information steal our ability to imagine or achieve? After all, if it's being done somewhere by somebody, and we can participate virtually on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, we can follow along on their website, why bother leaving the house at all? The outdoors is a place where I can feel free, I can feel like I can stretch my arms out and touch nothing but air. And for me, that is what makes the outdoors so special. I can be totally who I want to be here. So who am I to say to the Scouts, you need to get out more? Because I know that you guys understand the power and the beauty of the outdoors. And you also understand the power of the beauty of the ocean more than anything. The outdoors for me is a place which we need to conserve and protect and look after. Hence why my next project is called the Dark Ice Project. We are heading up onto the Arctic Ocean in the depths of winter to gather never before seen data, content, imagery. There's one thing I want you to remember, and it is my ABC. And this is what I'm gonna finish on today. ABC. Ambition is the first letter. A for ambition. I know that every single one of you Scouts on the line today has an ambition to do something, to be something, to see something, to go somewhere. That ambition is there for the taking. A for ambition. It's up to you to find that ambition and follow it with B, bravery, with a brave heart. Find that bravery to say to your friends and family, this is what I want to do. This is what I've always dreamt of doing, whether that be taking a kayak across the North Atlantic Ocean or any other big adventure. This is my dream and I really want to give it my everything. You've got to be a brave person to stand up and say, this is what I want to do. And C stands for Carpe Diem, and it means seize the day. So when that opportunity arises and presents itself, gives you a window of opportunity, please take it, grab it with both hands, because sometimes that opportunity will knock super quietly. Do not be afraid of failing, for as Winston Churchill said, success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm.
Ian, your Group Scout leader, alluded earlier to what a fantastic job you've all been doing. And in particular, I know the young leaders have been very, very busy during the lockdown period. And I'm absolutely so amazed and pleased and excited at the innovative programme ideas and the expertise in IT that you've been showing during this time. And so I've consulted with our county commissioner, and we've decided that we would like to reward some of the young leaders for the work they've been doing during the lockdown. And so I have, for some of you, whose name I'll read out in a while, this is a district commissioner's commendation certificate, and there's a cloth badge that can be worn on the uniform roughly here, which will be posted out to you early next week. I will be getting the certificates printed on Thursday, and they'll be winging their way to you next week. But I'd like to just read out the names of those who have won it and the citation on the certificate, which says, "For outstanding service, commitment and leadership in support of the 8th Norwich Sea Scouts online programme during the 2020 lockdown." And these awards, or this award, goes to, first of all, we've got the Cub section. We've got Joe Osborne, who also did food packing along with Louisa Dixie, Josh Kohler, Kit Fordham, Ellie Mackay, Amy Barber, Alice Palmer, and Alan Smith. In the Beaver section, the award goes to Nicola Hinsley and George Schofield. And for the Scouts, it's Henry James, Natalie Chalk, Ollie New, Adam Johnson, James Byrne, Milton Maxwell, Andre Marquez, and Oscar Taylor. Now, there are a few that also did food packing, and that was Rosie Valentine, Ruby Landis, Katja Ruda, Dan Byrne, Finn Brown, and Ellie Hayward.
This is the culmination of your 3 years. And I just looked at what culmination means because it kind of felt right, but this is what it actually means. The highest or climactic point of something, especially as attained after a long time. So this is not something that you sort of rocked up one weekend or for 2 or 3 weeks and did. You've been slowly over the course of your 3 years gaining these badges. It's the 6 challenge badges and the others that have finally come to this point. So it's with great pleasure that I can read out the names of these people. And as George said, if you haven't achieved them yet, it's because you've not been there for very long, or you've not been to a camp, but there's still time, and just keep going. If it's something that you really want to do, there is time to do it when you join Scouts in September. Okay, so we'll start off with Teddy Curtis, well done. Hannah Conway, Hannah Mitchell, Miles Alston, Hannah Reid, Lily Hindley, Himesh, Amarik Warama, Rufus Tiffin, B. Williamson, Nia Trevette, Antonia Watson, Oliver Blanchard, Olivia Adkins, William Duncan, Ahmed Mohammed, and Hubert Spaskowski. So, guys, well done.
Sad times and happy times for me. Each year I say goodbye to the year 13s, the upper 6th explorers. And this year we've got the class of 2020 who leave. It's a very special year for me. It's a special year because they were in the top year of Cubs when I joined the group in 2012. And then they started in Scouts the same time that I started in Scouts. And they were just in year 6 back then. So we've shared quite a lot of adventures together. So this group, they won't know it, but I'm going to say it means a great deal to me. And this time of the year, we award them their Bitter End Award. There we go. That's a Bitter End Award, and it comes in a nice box. And the bitter end is the bit of rope, that tarred rope that attaches the chain of an anchor to the ship. And if you're in a storm, you keep letting out some more chain and more chain and more chain, and eventually you can't let any more chain out, and you get to the tarred rope at the end called the bitter end, and that means you can't go any further. So these guys have come to the end of their young scouting journey, and they're going to start a new journey with us, hopefully. In the 8th, we welcome and support, befriend into our family and into the community of scouting anyone and everyone, irrespective of who they are and where they've come from and what their preferences are or who they identify with or as. We are a family of equals. And I hope that everyone will stand with me when I say that we will do everything we can to teach our young people that prejudice has no place in our society. So bravo to every beaver and cub and scout and explorer. And bravo to the parents who stood by us and trusted us. And bravo to the young leaders who are such an inspiration. They stepped up and said, "We've got this." And they've inspired a whole new generation of scouts. And bravo to the leaders, the trustees and the helpers who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to keep the show on the road. Yet again, they've confirmed to me they are the best team in scouting.